It's Monday afternoon. It's Adrian Horton. It's Caden McDonald. It's the review show on the official, unofficial podcast of the Melbourne Demons. The DeeBrief. Kados, we had a bloody win.
Naughtsie, we got up, mate. Unbelievable scenes. It felt like the lads would respond from the disappointment of the St Kilda game, and they did. And everyone had a little bit of a hunch that we could do it in emphatic fashion, and we did in the end. So can't complain. Can't complain.
Also, just talking about not complaining, let's talk about complaining. You're having a go at your hair before. You've just got the back and sides. I think it looks fine, mate. You've got to chill out.
Short back and sides. Hasn't quite covered the pockets the way I'd love it to. I've just got out the shower. We're doing video as well these days, so I can't just hide in my little dungeon while we do the debrief. So
hang on. Let's not throw the barber or whoever you got the haircut off under the bus. So
it must have been their first day. So that's all right.
Do you go to the same joint every time?
Yeah, I roll in and it's a different bloke every time, and he's lowered his colours, but that's all right. I'll live with it. I look like Fritta.
Yeah, I was going to say, are you going for the Fritta?
No, I wasn't going for the Fritta, but yeah, I'm just the pockets. It's the pockets what I'm concerned with. They're receding at a rate of knots, but that's all right. You know,
you just stress less, mate. You've got a long-term partner, and she's beautiful, and you've done very well with yourself.
I'm locked away.
You've done very well with yourself, mate. Very well. You are definitely batting, like all of us. I certainly am myself. Let's start with Fritta. I think that's probably the perfect segue into the actual show itself. I'm going to quickly preface. I'm going to be super positive today. I'm not going to talk about coaching, but I've had a lot of interesting feedback over the past couple of weeks.
You've been going hard in the paint, as the basketballers say.
Yeah, some people saying this isn't the Naughtsie that I know. We need glass half full Naughtsie back. Other people saying this is a version that I never knew I needed in my life, so they've been happy with it. So it's been very intriguing from my point of view, just seeing the reaction to the last couple of weeks. And we obviously know why, because Carlton was a basket case. St Kilda was the greatest basket case of all time. But we're here now. We're going to talk about the Eagles game. We're going to talk about Fritta to begin with, because he is a player that suddenly in the last month, Kados, has been subject to some speculation about his future at the footy club. And he's been superb since that Brizzy sub game. And you and I have been singing his praises. And I think this might be the first podcast where you've jumped on and we've actually had a victory. Albeit against the team that might only win one game for the whole season. But nevertheless, we won, and you're here on a victory pod, and I think we need to have a serious discussion about Bayley Fritsch and his future, because what he has put up, in my opinion, in the last couple of months, and maybe even a little bit more, is a player that we'd been crying out for the past 18 to 24 months prior. He kind of fell by the wayside last year. He didn't have a great start to this year. That normal dead-eye dick that we've seen was missing a lot of gettable chances. He wasn't applying enough pressure. If you look at the pressure acts statistics alone, it still doesn't stack up incredibly well. But I feel like there's definitely, from an eye test point of view, been a bigger uplift in terms of his work rate off the ball. And then what we're suddenly starting to see is a man flourish in front of the big sticks and also setting them up for his teammates. I've been really happy with his form line last couple of months, and it's now getting to the point where I'd be bitterly disappointed if we lost a Bayley Fritsch who's playing this type of footy.
Yeah, it'd be frustrating to lose someone like that. It's we're at a weird juncture for our footy club. Like, I'm sort of as defensive as I have been about the playing list and whatnot, and how we need to retain and, back the boys in and whatnot. I am warming to anything's on the table for me. I just think anything's on the table, and I'm open to it. I still think we could get back to playing good footy in the next 18 months. So I'm not massive on the blow the whole thing up, like sack everyone over 30, let's go, play the kids. I think half of our issue is we've been playing too many kids. We're too young. We're very inexperienced in a lot of areas of the ground. So I'm not, completely on the get rid of everyone bandwagon. But yeah, halfway through this year, Bayley Fritsch's name did get brought up in trade conversations, and I was open to it. This is a man who, very lofty standards, has performed for us for a long, long time. Dropped those. I'm pretty sure if you go back to some of the news headlines across the summer, I'm almost certain a Bayley Fritsch didn't start training till Feb sort of thing, or late January. I could be wrong, but I feel like he was a name that got brought up that didn't get to preseason that late, and it just translates. Like it happens across the competition as well. Players who don't get that block of fitness over the summer, it just translates to the season. And then I like that clubs don't use it as an excuse. When Bayley Fritsch went back to the VFL and was in bad form, it's not like anyone came out and gave him an out. It's just like we spoke about, like just getting him back into form. And going back to the VFL, since he's come back from the VFL, he's been amazing. And his intent to pressure and his buy-in, like he sort of picks and chooses when he buys into that forward pressure at times, and it can be frustrating. He can sometimes be a little bit selfish, like he acts like that EPL striker that needs to take it on himself and have those shots. And when he misses, it feels like he's a liability. But in the last couple of weeks, like his marking, his work rate up the ground, his ball use up the ground, the intent to apply pressure has been so much better. And this is the caliber of player that we know we have. Like when we look at our best 22s at the start of the year, and we go glass half full on every individual, it's excuse my French, but it's a fucking good team. It is a very, very good team. But when you have 12, 14 out of form, out of whack, out of the system, there's no cohesion, you can drop off in this competition and look average. And I think that's why this season we've taken it to the best. Brisbane in Brisbane, what a victory. Taken it up to the Pies, should have won. But then us as supporters, knowing that all the puzzle pieces aren't tightly put together in this very competitive competition, we know that when we verse a St Kilda, verse a Blues, it's not a tick. Like if you play that well against the Pies, coming up against the Blues, it should just be automatically in your win column. But we know that because we can't consistently do it, we're vulnerable to anyone. So, yeah, I don't know. I look at the 22. I look at people like Bayley Fritsch, and it brings me optimism because there's so many other players on our team with that high ceiling that Bayley Fritsch has that we can get back into form. And seeing us do it with one makes me think we could potentially do it with others. But it's just a credit to him, and I'm pumped for him. His marking's been awesome. Oh,
his marking's been exceptional. So good. And again, some of the very best defenders in the comp. The way he outbodied Cal Wilkie the other day against St Kilda, the game that we don't want to talk about, the way it ended. And there wasn't an analysis of the footy that we played in those first three quarters and what he was doing in that first quarter alone. But it was impressive. And the numbers look good. I'm just looking at the monitor here, but 17 disposals on the weekend, 4 goals, a goal assist. He had 20 disposals against the Blues. He had 21 disposals against Kangaroos. He had 3 goals and 3 goal assists that day. He had a great day out against Collingwood. He kicked 3 goals. He had 17 disposals. He had 20 disposals against Port Adelaide. And if not for 2-3, we're talking about a much bigger day. The thing that sticks out to me in this, I would almost call it a newly formed role where he's not as deep as he once was. He's just getting further up the ground. He's got more space to operate in, and Bayley Fritsch needs that. When he gets a run at the ball, he's a great pluck in the air. He loves a big grab. Also, just his run and carry as well, a very underrated part of his game. And if we talk about polish and field kicks, every now and again he'll bite off one end of the corridor that he probably shouldn't go for, but that happens to some of the best field kickers in the league at times, right? So we've even seen it with Jake Bowie, who is probably one of our most effective kicks in the side. Like that just happens because obviously looking corridor, looking to open it up and hit someone inside 50. So I love the fact he's getting more of the ball. I love the fact that he can also be a distributor going inside. And his run and carry when he's in space is actually quite important for us. So I think they're underrated elements in this. As I said, I just believe it's a newly formed role for him. Play higher up the field, get more involved in the contest, because his skill set, particularly from a field kicking point of view, is something that I don't think we've tapped into enough.
I reckon against the Blues as well. Now, correct me if I'm making this up, but because I was on the beers that night in Geelong at a 30th. But I'm pretty sure he marked one like 15 out and gave a handball over the top, and we walked an easy goal. It might have been Melksham or someone. But so, like, I know it's a fine line between you're on the boundary, you're a left footer with so much skill, taking it upon yourself and trying to get the shot off versus burning someone in the goal square. And we know for a fact he should always give that handball. But I don't reckon there'd be anyone in the world that knows it more than him. Like that stuff would be brought up every weekend, and I feel like there's been a slight shift in his mindset with that stuff, and I feel like it's been harsh on him that he burns players. But even though it has been harsh, I feel like in the last few weeks it looks like he's working on it a little bit more, which is great for the side.
Very good for the side. Jack Viney is another one on the weekend. 13 clearances is just stupid. He single-handedly really ran the game from the midfield for mine. I thought he was awesome. Also, just a great stat, of course, coming into this game where he surpassed the old man Todd in terms of appearances, 234 games for the club now. The Viney legacy runs deep. We love Jack. People like to knock his kicking, but at the end of the day, you cannot knock his mongrel bastard. He had 8 tackles as well to go with his 13 clearances. He was great. Max was great as well. That first half, I thought he just absolutely took the piss. Just watching him and sitting back on the couch, didn't actually get to go in there in the end. The wife wasn't feeling too good, so thought I'd stay at home, the kids and all those types of things. But just laying up on the couch with a pressure-free game, like the last 2 weeks before that have been a bit of a nightmare. You lose to a bunch of kids in Carlton. You lose the unlosable game against St Kilda. So just to sit back and watch Max just do what he does was so good. And I think given the fact that we know this could be maybe third last year for Max, he maybe goes around for another 2. I think I've said this previously this year on this podcast a couple of times. I'm really just soaking it in now with him.
Yeah.
And just trying to enjoy Max for as long as we can until he starts to wane, or conversely, he might play supreme football rather until the very end of his career and then hang them up. He just doesn't look like wilting, Kados. And the thing that popped into my brain when I was watching it on Saturday was the amount of knocks that he takes just going back with the flight. And I keep thinking to myself, one of those knocks one day, is it going to hamper him? Are we going to find out when he hangs up the boots that it was because of one particular knock that he gets in the next couple of years, and touch plywood here? But it absolutely baffles me that he just gets up week to week, cops these big knocks and bruises, he's down on his haunches every second or third game, and then he just gets up and he just gets on with it. He's just ridiculous. And again, the commentators on Saturday, they just couldn't believe what they were watching. And I think that's the beauty of Max, that even though he's done this so many times for so many years, you still just marvel at what this bloke can do. And I think it was just another performance on the weekend. And his buddy Brodie was unbelievable against Essendon, had the 39 disposals. I mean, if Brodie gets it, fair play to him. If he gets the All-Australian, all good, whatever. I've said it before, I'm not massive on the individual awards. I'm more big on the team awards like most of the players are, if not all of them. If he gets it, whatever, because at the end of the day, we're still speaking about a Max Gawn that I think could easily say that he's a top 20, top 15 player in the comp. And to be still a top 15, top 20 player in the comp, given age profile and how many years he's been doing this consistently, it's absurd. It's absolutely absurd.
Yeah. His marking was so good, so good. And I love how the commentary, and they say this pretty much every time he plays, but they say like how much time you'd put into Max Gawn, and they still just kick it to him. So that's obviously off the back of his positioning, his ability to close distance, get to the flight of the ball. Every team targets him. Like he goes from contest to contest, and every week he gets bumped and barreled and smashed into, and he just goes about it in the most like classy, professional way possible. I know it's not really relevant now, but I remember when we announced that he was the captain, it might have been after 1 or 2 All-Australians, maybe even more, maybe like 3 All-Australians in, we announced he was the captain, and he was this goofy guy in the media, and I remember, there was a few people that weren't Melbourne supporters saying like, oh, you're just sort of giving it to supposedly your best player. And I remember almost feeling a little bit similar. Like we did have Viney and whatnot. I know he'd been captain earlier in his career. And I wasn't sure Max was the most natural fit, but his body of work and resume and whatnot, like what he's produced as captain on and off field, mainly off field really, like the way he's sort of just defended the club and done it with grace and done it with class, and he's just so respected, like one of the most liked players outside the comp. He has been, I don't know where we'd be without him. Like literally our club is holding on to its relevance at the moment, but we would be absolutely irrelevant without that man. So another amazing performance. And to touch on the All-Australian, I think Brodie's had a pretty consistent year. And I think Max has been inconsistent, but Max's best games have almost been 3-vote games. Now, they won't be in the Brownlow because Ruckman don't get votes, but it's like he's almost not polled, or every 2 or 3 weeks Max has had a 3-voter type game. And he's done it all season. I reckon Brodie was a little bit inconsistent throughout the year. I think Cherry was pretty even with Max before he went around clobbering blokes, the thug. And I don't know. Everyone throws up Wits and a couple of others, but Luke Jackson probably knocking on the door as well. But, no one's taken it off him. It's not like it's either a coin flip between Max and someone else, or it's just almost like you haven't taken it off the undisputed champ and he just keeps it. That's the way I see it this year.
It's going to be fascinating. We saw some change. We saw some tactical change. I wonder if you can pick it. Kados, what do we see happening on the weekend? Can I give you a hint, or do you know?
Well, I did. I was playing footy at the time, so I watched a replay, and I was watching a lot of TikTok while the replay was on. But can I have a couple of guesses?
Go for it.
Are you talking like positional?
Positional. Yeah, we saw a player that had been playing in a...
Caleb Windsor?
Yes. Well done. First go. So we saw Caleb Windsor in the middle, and the reason why I really wanted to speak about this is because it's been doing a lot of Melbourne supporters' heads in that we're not freshening it up from centre bounce, and he actually went in for 73% of our centre bounces. It was really pleasing to see. He was a little bit sloppy at times exiting, but I just thought it was great exposure for him. Yes, it was West Coast. Now, for me, it's let's go on with it and let's give him some exposure against the Doggies, who clearly have a very good midfield. And I just think that's a great opportunity for the kid. And I think he showed more than enough that there is a world where he bulks up a little bit more in the preseason and we roll with it again. And this is the exposure that we've all wanted as supporters. And again, we love the champions, Petrarca, Oliver, Viney. We love them all. But we just need to see some more dynamics, some more flighty types like Caleb Windsor out of the middle. So that was pleasing for me. And it happened so early in the game in that first quarter, and he lay back on the couch and I'm like, fuck yeah, good on you, Goody. This is good. I'm into this. But just please do it next week. I want to see a little bit more exposure against some of the better teams.
Yeah. Oh, geez, he's such a weapon. He's going to be such a weapon. His kicking is sometimes absolutely lethal, and then sometimes I don't know what happens. Maybe he's running too fast, but he's not full Jaden Hunt, where he's a bit of a liability. He's not full Sam Frost. He's sort of in the middle between this penetrating, unbelievable, silky shoe, and then a few just shank. But that's okay. We can live with that. Yeah, it's scary. It's scary what we've done in the last couple of drafts to get Windsor and Langford and Lindsay. Like, it's actually crazy. And to do it, no, we finished 14th last year, but we got Windsor in when we finished 4th, I think. So, I don't know. That's hats off to the list department for pulling that off. Very, very impressive kid. In my glass half empty pessimism, sitting on the couch, it has pained me to see Dan Curtin come on very quickly.
Yeah.
Because Windsor was a bit of a bolter. Dan Curtin was a bit of a slider. Like, everyone thought Dan Curtin could have gone 1, 2, 3.
Yep.
Gets to 7. He's tall. He's 196. He's dynamic. He can be a key, but he can be a winger, but he can be a mid. So we went with Windsor, and it was a need that we absolutely had to address, is that flighty, dynamic mid. And knowing us, we pick a 196 sort of projected wingman hybrid, and, you know, Dan Curtin's probably playing Casey for 3 years and we'd all be seething. So I think it was the right option, and I'm pumped with Windsor. But yeah, there has been times this year I have been watching Curtin closely with some nerves. But yeah, I don't know. Line breaking, rapid pace, an underrated approach at the contest. I love that anyone who wears the red and blue just froths cracking in, no matter your frame, no matter the type of player you are. It's amazing what Choco Williams and the lads do down there. And yeah, I can't wait to watch this kid for the next 15 years.
I can't wait to watch this kid for the next 3 weeks. So it's these 3 weeks. I think there's a coaching for his career. I think that's a bit of a dir. There's a captain who has said openly that we need some evidence, we need some scalps. So even though I think the direction of travel for this football club should go down a particular path, everyone knows which path I think that is, right? And a lot of people think that is the right path. But at the end of the day, there's also a considerable amount of people that don't think that is the right path. So the one thing that I'm curious about is we've got 3 games against 3 really good opposition, chasing spots in the finals. The Bulldogs need a spot in the 8. Hawthorn need a spot in the 8. Collingwood, we could be playing them in the last round and they'll potentially need to win to ensure a top 4 finish. Or they'll need to win to ensure a top 2 finish in a home qualifying final. So the stakes are high for all these 3 teams. So the one thing that I've noticed about Melbourne, and I'll give them, it's not credit, I'll probably just put the heat back on them. They've been talking up these 3 games for a while, even before they happened. So Carlton, bit of a dead rubber. We know how that panned out. St Kilda was a dead rubber, turned into the most berserk, extraordinary ending you've ever seen in your life. Fucking hell. It was so annoying. And then last week against West Coast, the epitome of a dead rubber. And well done to those 16,000 people that were there and all the Melbourne faithful. I thought that was much better than I expected. So, and it was against one of the worst teams in the history.
It could have been 8,000 after the side.
No, come on. No, we'll call it 16. We'll believe the AFL. They never lie. So, this is why I just keep coming back to this 3-week period. This 3-week period, there's a lot on the line for a coach. There's a lot on the line for some of the players. Windsor's one of them. And then there's not a myriad, but there's a few other things that we would like to see, I think, as supporters. And one of the other things we would like to see is we would like to see Jai Culley again. We want to see Jai. We want to see what he can do against better opponents in the next 3 games. Play him for the next 3 games. Do not drop him. Just keep playing him, because I saw a guy that I think, talking to a few people that went to the game, defensively he got caught out a bit with his 2-way running, but his offensive running and what he did forward of the ball was really impressive. And he went at 92% efficiency. Again, something we've been crying out for. Kicked 2 great goals, took an awesome hanger. He's got a good frame about him, and you just got to continue to persist and see what you can get out of this bloke in the next 3 weeks. So Windsor and Cully are the obvious ones, and there might be some other things that you're looking for as well, Kados.
Looking for in the next 3 weeks.
Are there players at Casey? Do you want to see Jed Adams get a go? Do you want to see Luca Kenfield get a go?
Yes, Kenfield. Love Kenfield. I went down to that faithful night where Kalani White debuted for the red and blue down at Casey, and yeah, across the park there was just this bloke taking huge towering intercept marks, and I was like, who the fuck is that? And then we looked him up, and it was Kenfield, and he's been a weird cult figure for myself and Broden Kelly over the last 18 months. We jokingly said that Kenfield would be the answer when he got drafted middle of last year. And then just didn't hear from him again, about Kenfield. And he has a name and just a type of player that you draft for 18 months and they disappear off the face of the earth. I don't know. But that's why we got around him. But going to the VFL, him and Jed Adams stood out massively that game. And then seeing some of the highlights on the socials, man, I would love to see that bloke get a crack. What do I want to see? There's nothing I want to see. I think all our changes will happen in the off season. I love our this is a dangerous thing to say.
Oh,
but I love the brand we're developing. Some of our ball movement against the Saints, I was like mesmerised by, and a lot of people put that down to no Saints pressure and whatnot. And I don't know, I can just go off what I saw. But throughout this season, we have pinged that footy end to end in really exciting ways. We've had so many shots at goal, and we just can't capitalise. And we all know that as Melbourne supporters. But I don't know, in another 6 months with a couple of people brought into the footy club, I wonder what we'll look like. So I don't know. I don't really care about these 3 weeks. There's nothing. I'd love to. I'll do a 1, 2, 3 of who I'd like to take scalps of in order. I think it probably goes Pies, because that'd be fucking awesome.
But is it Pies because we've taken away a top 4 finish?
They finished 5th? And also just, I don't know, that would be our grand final. I'd celebrate it like it was 2021. I'd go to Swan Street and stop the streets. I'd be the only man out there. But
I'll come with it.
But man, I love beating the Dogs, and they think they're flying, and that could put them out of finals.
Ooh.
So I think for me it goes Pies number 1. That'd be awesome. Dogs 2, and then Hawks. I don't know. I've got a bit of a respect for Hawks. You know,
Hawks are my number 1.
Oh really?
Yeah.
That'd be a good scalp. We should have beaten them earlier in the season.
I would love nothing more to make sure that they don't make finals. That would be beautiful. And then number 2, Collingwood.
Yeah.
And then number 3, Bulldogs. The reason number 3, Bulldogs, I just can't see a world where we could beat them at the moment. I just can't see it. Sam Darcy, Norton's on fire.
Yeah, true.
Like, they're going to run riot. Also, I'm actually excited about going to the footy and watching Sam Darcy. Wow.
Maybe I'm delusional, but there's a weird MCG factor about it for mine, where the Dogs love torching teams at Marvel. They love when the roof's closed, but with a slight breeze, a couple of seagulls and some overcast weather on a Sunday, they don't want to be there. It's a bit chilly for Harmsy now. It's a bit chilly for Oscar Baker. So, I don't know. There's a weird MCG feel about it. I think... I can't see it either.
I can't see it. Do you know what? Let's go the other way. Let's go the other way, and then we'll go back and I'll speak about a few individuals. We're not going to run too long today, but what about this?
Oh.
Realistically, how does it end up? And run through the margins. Do we actually beat any of these teams, or is it 3 losses, and what are the margins?
Nah, we get a win.
We get a win?
Yeah. We'll win 1. Okay.
Then go. Try and give us your head tip. Who is it?
Lose to the Dogs by 7.
7 points.
Another frustrating game where we've had some inside 50s, some contested balls, some clearances. We've done everything right, but not good enough, and we're all frustrated. Lose to the Dogs by 7.
Generous. I like it.
We beat the Hawks by 16.
We beat the Hawks.
And we lose to the Pies by 17.
Okay.
It sort of sums up our season. Close, not close enough. not consistent enough for 4 quarters. But in terms of, I don't know, our game style, it's stacking up all right, sort of in everything, winning the key indicators, but not quite good enough. Same old story for mine across the 3 games.
Same old story for the last however many years. Don't take me down the rabbit hole again. So, another player we need to speak about is clearly Harvey Langford as well.
Oh, my God.
Kicked the 3 goals, and I love his ball use, and I love his mongrel bastard. I'm so excited about this kid, like crazy excited about this kid. I spoke to an opposition mate. He is a Richmond fan, and there's a respect between Richmond and Melbourne because we were both in the doldrums for a while there. We had the Geordie, was it the Geordie McMahon? Was that his name?
Yeah.
The Geordie McMahon Cup. Yeah, that was fun. So we got to experience that beautiful thing that ended up being the most not beautiful thing for us as a footy club. But there's always been a respect, and he doesn't mind watching the D's games. And I was just picking his brain about a few of the Richmond kids because admittedly I haven't watched a lot of Richmond, and when I have, I'm trying to figure out, I'm like, are those the guys that they're excited about? Like, what's your top 3 guys that you're excited about? And my mate stopped me in my tracks, and he goes, oh, mate, he goes, clearly your number one's Langford, like by a country mile. And I said, yeah, absolutely. But I said, Daniel Turner's another one that I've been really happy with. But he couldn't get over how good Langford is at this stage. Obviously, Sam Laylaw, he thinks that he's head and shoulders the best kid in the draft, but he actually thinks, like, he loves Murphy Reid as well, who again is a star and played really well yesterday. But he thinks Langford's probably the second best behind Sam. So that was interesting to hear from an opposition supporter. It's just the frame and the size of him as well. Like, he just looks like he belongs. He's a 19-year-old kid. And I reckon from the day he debuted, that first game against the Giants, he just didn't look out of place, Kados. And it was another impressive display, but I thought it was a display where he just made it look piss easy. He just was kind of like, ugh. And again, I don't want to be disrespectful to West Coast, but maybe I will be. They are a team that's lost 76 of their past 88 games. That stat doesn't even sound believable. But I feel like Harvey Langford was just like, this is just too fucking easy. Like, why are we even playing this game? And I love that little bit of arrogance about him. I think it's really healthy.
Yeah, he's got this this move that I don't think I've seen much before in the AFL, where he grabs the ball, stops on his tracks, starts like reversing with it with his back sort of shelled up, and tacklers fall over the top of him, and then he comes out of contest backwards. It's very bizarre and strange, but he's the only one I've seen do it on multiple occasions. I can't remember if I've said this on the pod before or whether it was to you rambling sweet nothings about the D's after a victory, but we when we played North, it was at the last like minute and a half, maybe even the last 30 seconds, there was a contest between Zerha and Langford right in front of the MCC members, and Langford just absolutely bodied him, like bitched him to be honest, and just flattened him, zigzagged in and out, kicked it inside 50, and Langford turned around and just started berating him. And it was this 19-year-old kid with a bit of CUNT in him. And Zerha's got a bit of that in him as well. And there was almost this mutual respect. Like, Zerha was almost like, oh, this kid, like, fuck you. But also, like, this is, yeah, fair play to you, mate. And I watched it, and he just went at him for like 25 seconds. And I'm like, that is a kid who's not intimidated, obviously. But I remember a few years ago, players we drafted started to have a bit of that. Like, I don't think before we got, like before Cos and Jacko and Rivers, I reckon every kid we drafted, like when Tom Sparrow debuted in 2019, it was a bit of, speak when spoken to, head down, bum up, earn the respect. And then from that day forward, the people that we brought in and drafted and debuted had this confidence and swagger. And I remember Cozzy in his first couple of games, like getting into blokes, bumping blokes, Luke Jackson as well, Trent Rivers. And since then, like people we bring in have this aura, as the kids say, and Harvey Langford is one of those. Like, I can't believe it. I cannot believe the way he carries himself in such a cool, confident, self-assured way. Obviously, that'll get tested as his career goes on, but I just think he's made of the right stuff and has such a solid foundation for his football going forward. He is just built for the caper, and I love it.
Someone who's built and was built for the midfield, and he's moved in there, is Kysaiah Pickett. And Kysaiah on the weekend, it was quite funny. He has 26 disposals, and he had the most score involvements of any demon on the ground. Didn't end up kicking a goal, but you could almost make a case that it was a quiet day for Cos, and it was this midfield version of Cos where it was like, well, you know what? I don't necessarily have to be the main man in front of the sticks. I'm just going to go about just getting the ball, distributing it, clearance, tackles, and just do my thing and just sit in second gear. I spoke about this at the start of the year. It's numbers like that and not having to rely on his impact from a goal scoring perspective. But then if this is a slightly subpar version of Cosy and the bloke's still putting up those numbers and still having that influence on a game, what have we got? Like, this player is from the top echelon, and I guarantee you, and it's similar to Rankin, and this is why I think they're so similar, and the way that Rankin took that game away from Hawthorn on Friday was just something else. They both got it. They've both just got that ability to go, all right, this is my moment. I need to step up. I need to put the team on my shoulders. And if Melbourne got themselves into a situation where, let's cast forward to the game on Sunday, we're actually playing a nail biter against the Doggies, and it's getting tense, like your prediction. Cozzy, I think, just flicks a switch and just goes, all right, well, it's time for me to actually try and influence this game from a goal-scoring perspective. So a really funny game for me because he just waltzed around in second gear, put up really impressive numbers, but no one will speak about it. And this is the level of consistency that I think, well, I've been asking for it. No doubt a lot of supporters have been asking for it, but it feels like he's there now, Caden. And what a scary proposition that is for the rest of the comp, that these could be quiet days, inverted commas. And you look at the stat sheet and you go, fucking hell, it's a good day.
Yeah, and I was a little bit worried because look, we all knew that he would have this breakout season and we all knew that he'd be in the All-Australian conversation, but I was worried that his suspension would havoc that, because if you miss the first three or whatever it was, but if you miss much more, you probably rule yourself out of All-Australian conversations. But I just love that, oh man, like he's been so good. He's been such a good midfielder for us. He will be All-Australian. He'll probably be in the forward pocket, which is quite funny because he really has become a midfielder. Like in games where he's kicked 5, he's done that from starting in the guts at centre bounces. So, yeah, absolute privilege. Cannot believe we locked him away. I had resided to the fact that he'd be gone at the end of the year. I knew we'd get compensated well for it, but to know that he's sticking around at least for the near future, it appears so lucky. And what I appreciate about him is his professionalism. Like you mentioned Rankin, and he is a top liner and a superstar and a game breaker. But he's broken down a couple of times with injuries, and that might just be, the part and parcel of playing in this competition that's unrelenting. But Kysaiah Pickett just presents physically so well. Every preseason, he comes back looking more jacked. He's never come back unfit. He's never looked overweight or anything. He is just super fit, super diligent, so professional from top to bottom. I'm not sure if that's having football figures in and around his family like his uncle and whatnot, but he has just from day dot conducted himself like an absolute professional, and yeah, he's got gears to go to. So he's going to run right these last 3 games, and they're all at the MCG, and that's what I'll be paying my ticket for.
That's what I'll be paying my ticket for as well. And just the potential of a scalp. The potential of a scalp has to be there. Some people saying, oh, better off losing this one. We want to coach out the door. I think I'm kind of done with the negative energy, even from myself. And I apologise to the people that always want glass half full. Me, Naughtsie, whatever my name is, my stupid nickname on this podcast. Thanks, Nuggets. But I want to scalp. I've admittedly just really gone through the motions since that St Kilda game. Like that St Kilda game, and I actually mean the game in Alice. I mean the game in the Northern Territory. Since that point, like it's just been a roller coaster. Like it's really just beaten me down. Like we ended up doing a post-match show together with Zorks after the Collingwood game. And we were so proud of the boys. They played their asses off. They run their socks off and they did everything that they could to get the 4 points. And that was such a kick in the guts, losing that one by a point. And then even that one against Port Adelaide, we had all the momentum in that third quarter and we couldn't capitalise. And we went in to a bye after that and it just deflated the hell out of us. So you come back, you have a goalless first quarter against the Suns and you're like, oh, fuck me, Melbourne, come on. And then we had that admirable performance against a high-flying Crows, and that second quarter was a sight to behold from Melbourne until we gave up the lead that we'd built against them. And it's just been a roller coaster, Kados. Like the Carlton game, embarrassing to lose to them, super embarrassing. And then probably had the height of embarrassment against St Kilda with that last quarter capitulation. But of course, 3 quarters of footy before that looked really, really rock solid and really good. So if anyone wants to get an understanding of why I've been a little bit negative, isn't it obvious? It's just been such an emotional, sapping season for us ever since that St Kilda game up in the NT. And that's why, as Harry walks into shot, that's why it's been so draining. And that's probably why I've been a little bit negative. And I apologise, but it's taken the wind out of my sails a bit, Kados.
Yeah, fair enough. In the deep, dark depths of winter and footy season, it's fucking hard. It is so hard. The footy turns putrid. Like, you go into winter, the MCG's sodden, your team starts playing 4 out of 5 weeks on the road. We're playing all the hardest teams in the competition, in the Suns, the Crows, the Power. I hate that we lost to the Power. They've been awful this season, but going to Adelaide Oval's never easy. So to switch off for that game and allow them to get their game on their terms was frustrating. It's just been, I don't know. This is life. When you're 14th to 12th, and it is frustrating that it's almost more frustrating that we're not far off. And if we were more far off, we would sack everyone and we'd be moving on the champs and we'd hand the keys over to Windsor and Langford. But it almost, and I'm going to talk shit for a little bit here and half the people won't agree and that's fair enough, but it almost feels like, is this the bottom before the upswing? Have we got enough games? Is 40 and 60 games into Windsor and Howes and Roo and Bowie, is that going to be enough to have the swing start going up again? And we won't know for another 6 months. But, yeah, super frustrating. Middle of winter football sucks. And I don't know. I feel like, especially across the last couple of years, we have been dogged by the footy gods. Like, we've won a couple of sort of famous victories, like the Gabba win this season against the Lions was awesome, but we've almost been on the receiving end of 5 or 6 famous victories for other sides in the last 18 months that could have easily been a coin flip result the other way. And I think that's what's killing me. Like, round 1, we beat GWS in a thriller. Hell yeah. Aiden Johnson slots it from the pocket, or Lockie Keefe remembers that he doesn't know how to kick the footy instead of forgetting for that one kick in his career. We're pumped. We're up and about. We banked that one. We beat the Pies on Kingsbury. I know they're coulda, woulda, shouldas, but it just feels like out of all the coin flip games across the last 2 years, we've been on the receiving end of them. And it's disheartening and it's frustrating and it feels unfair. But, I don't know. We just keep rocking up, I guess.
We keep rocking up as the kids have rocked up at home and they're going absolutely ballistic. We'll do a bit more of a deep dive in the post-season review shows when the season does draw to a conclusion. But just quickly, King's birthday, sucker punch, Port away, stupid game to lose. Alice Springs, stupid game to lose. St Kilda again at Marvel just recently, stupid game to lose. The stupidest game to lose. Even the Hawthorn one earlier in the year, had them on toast, didn't capitalise.
Blues.
And then you look at Essendon are fucking junk. Why are we losing to them? There's many games to lose.
North by 10 goals.
North, there's so many, but it keeps coming back to a common trend for me. We don't know how to win some of these close games. Well, the sample size is enormous. So
the most frustrating aspect, and I know, no doubt, gone over it enough, but the thing that stood out to me in the Saints game was the panic. And when we won in 2021, I thought we'd have this invincible confidence and reassurance within our side that we'd know what to do when shit hits the fan. Because you see the Pies, they do the cowboy footy where they jump on the ball and they've just got so many tactics up their sleeves late, the Collingwood Footy Club, that it's just so planned. They're all on the same page and no one panics. And what was super disappointing about the Saints game, but also just across the last 18 months, is the fragility and the panic that does set in with our side. And, we are immature across the park and we have been for 18 months, but that sort of goes back to back-to-back straight sets. Like, I just couldn't believe after winning it, we looked like a team that had never been there before the following 2 years. And that's something we're going to have to, dig out of our footy club. Like, that panic and that whatever that is deep-rooted, and it's going to take ages to remove it, I think. And it's probably up to your Langfords and whatnot to bring that confidence and make that a part of your DNA going forward.
I like that. Let's wrap on this note. 3 games left, 3 potential scalps on the table. Quite a few Melbourne supporters saying, wouldn't worry about it. We're not going to win any of them. I'm glass half full again. I would love to win one of these 3 games. So Bulldogs, into Hawthorn, into Collingwood, all at the MCG. I'll be there. You'll be there. And if there's anything to enjoy out of those games, it's go and watch Daniel Turner, go and watch Kysaiah Pickett, go and watch Max Gawn, because we're not going to have him forever. Go and watch Harvey fucking Langford. The kid is going to be a superstar. Go and watch Jai Cully. Who knows? He could be the wild card. Who bloody knows? Go and watch him run around on the MCG. Go and watch whoever you want to watch, whatever individuals you want to see growth in, you want to see potential in, or you just want to marvel at their exploits like we do Jack Viney in and under, even Clayton Oliver on the weekend. Good. Feels like he's turning a slight corner.
Clary, yeah.
Bayley Fritsch.
I thought Clary looked really good. Even from a frame perspective, I don't know if it was the lights of Marvel or whether he's just been slowly but surely chipping away at this fitness that everyone's been talking about. But I just thought the way he wandered around some of the stoppages, and I don't know if he had a tighter shirt on or whatever, but I thought he looked fit. I thought he looked really fit and played pretty well.
I agree. So a big 3 games for him. Mix it with some of the best mids in the comp. Let's see what he can do. So there's always some things to look forward to. And if anything, one of the best things about going to the footy is hanging with mates or family members. So that's what I'll be doing. I'll be there. I'll be enjoying it. I'll be soaking it in. And hopefully, at the end of the day, we don't throw the towel in and put in disappointing performances, and we're at least highly competitive. Does highly competitive cut it for me in terms of coaching department changes? No, it doesn't. I think we should make the change anyway. Again, people know that. But to park that to one side and just focus on those things that we just spoke about, let's just go with that approach, because I fueled a bit of the negativity. I'm happy to put my hand up. I have in the last few weeks. But just taking a step back now and knowing that there is only 3 games left in the season, I'd still like to see some positives. I would still like to see some hope, some new hope heading into 2026. So that's where I've landed with it all. It's going to be an interesting game against the Doggies because
we hate them.
They've got some really exciting players. We do. And the other thing as well, like they're all, I think I just thought, they're all pressure free. We can go in there.
Yeah.
They're the ones that need to get 4 points. It'll be the same for the Hawks. It'll be the same for the Pies. They all desperately crave and need 4 points for different reasons. 2 teams that want to play finals and get into the top 8. And 1 team that's got even bigger aspirations, trying to lock down a top 4, potentially top 2 spot and go all the way. So we're playing these games of footy against these clubs, and hopefully we can give a good account of ourselves, and hopefully we can at least get 1 scalp, because that would feel pretty fun.
Man, walking out the G with 1 more win, just walking through Yarra Park, just 1 more. We got 3 cracks at it. Come on, lads.
Do you know what that does as well? That puts us right in the middle, because since the 0-5 start, I made a prediction that we'd only win 6 games for the season. So we've won 7. You said we'd win 10.
Yeah.
So 1 extra scalp would put us right in the middle, and we can just handshake and go, well done, mate.
Well, I count the St Kilda one.
We'll call it a draw.
The St Kilda one's never happened in the history of the game. And the umpires were so bad on King's...
That ain't a win, brother.
The umpires were so bad on King's birthday that I'm going to give us the 4 points for that game as well. So we're 1 away from 10, which is good.
That's not what the stat sheets say. Mate, it's been a pleasure, as always. And it's been so nice to jump on after a victory, albeit against a team that's going to go 1 win, 22 losses for the season. It doesn't matter. We still won. And this is your first victory pod on the DeeBrief in season 2025.
Yeah, I feel like I've been, coming on and trying to spin some positivity as best as I could, and obviously not required after some of the last few results. There's not much I could do with those games. So, good to be back on. Jai Kelly is a big, big man and just a bit of a star, and hopefully we can get a scalp in the last 3 games.
Love it. Thanks, Kados. And thank you to all the DeeBrief faithful, the community, all the people who send in messages, all the people that pay out their hard-earned for DeeBrief Premium. It's been a tough year, but we're on the home stretch. I'll keep pumping out the content. Couldn't get player ratings done yesterday. Again, wife not feeling well. So she stayed in bed for the whole morning. I actually took Harry and Jasper out to watch my nephew play footy, Scotty's boy, Will. So a shout out to Will. Went and watched him play for Croydon Blues. He hates wearing the Blues jumper, by the way, which I love. Good on him. And he kicked a ripping goal, and you should have seen Scotty's face, like looking back at me. He's the EFL umpire escort. Can you believe it? The man that bags the umpires more than anyone else.
Geez, you'd feel safe
on
with
this
him
podcast
next year as an umpire.
Yeah, he's the AFL umpire escort. But Will kicked a lovely goal, balked a couple of players in traffic, and then snapped it on his left boot. He's a lefty. And Scotty just turned around. He's just like, oh, is 80 watching? And I certainly was. So very proud of my nephew, and lovely to get out there and watch him play footy. And then the final announcement I have, Kados, is my younger brother, Christopher, has just had a child with his partner, Daz. So his wife, Daz, and Chris, Chris didn't bring it into the world. Daz did. And her name is Eloise. So it's a very happy household at the moment. So sending love to my little brother, Chris, who's a diehard Demon as well, the poor bastard. Him and his wife, Daz, have had a beautiful little girl called Eloise. So we've got another cousin, Kados, in the family. And my boys, Harry and Jasper, were very excited about that. So, yeah, bit going on in the Horton clan.
Awesome.
So
Nah,
that's
that's
good.
exciting.
So anyway,
The more D's, the merrier.
more demons in the world. So enjoy the pain and misery that's about to come. Anyway, we'll wrap it on that note, mate. It's been awesome. We'll chat soon. And hey, who knows? We could be chatting again after taking a scalp.